welcome to the New Mobility Congress at Elektromobilni and ORLEN studio. Today I have a pleasure of hosting a special guest, Oana Penu from InnoEnergy. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, I'm really happy. We'll discuss the skills and professionals needed in the future of new mobility. Okay, Oana, tell me please, what kind of professionals does the new mobility industry need today and which will be needed in 5 years from now?
Well, thank you very much for the question. First of all, I think it's very important to mention that we see a growing trend in the new types of jobs around new mobility and electromobility. We see a lot of growth in jobs related to technicians and operators. So what we call the traditional blue collars, but also we see a lot of jobs about EV maintenance technician, EV chargers technicians, let's say technicians that know how to repair the cargo bikes, the electric bikes, and so on and so forth. And we also see a lot of jobs around data. So the logistics and the algorithms around improving the mobility in cities, but also communities. These are truly, I would say, the rising stars of the sector. And I just want to say that these new jobs, even if they are called technicians and operators, they are quite technical jobs. They are well-paid jobs. They are not what you would call, a classic mechanical job role. They are very specialized. They are clean jobs. Of course, they have an element of health and safety because these people still need to charge and discharge batteries and so on and so forth. But what we see is that usually these new jobs are very well paid, in average over 30% than the classic jobs. So one trend what we see emerging in Europe, Germany, but also Poland and Romania as well, but also in the United States, is the upskilling of people which are into these in the classical, if you want, mobility jobs, and they are moving towards electromobility jobs. So that's what you see today. And I think if you are looking into the future, and I don't have a crystal ball because if I would probably be, let's say, more vocal. But if we look at the trends and where the market is going, definitely everything related to the emergence of the AI and data science will be in the new jobs of the future. And probably today we don't even know the names of these jobs and the skills and competencies needed in the future. But what we see, for example, in manufacturing of these batteries and electric cars, is that the new technicians and the new engineers, they don't necessarily need to know how to manufacture per se, but they need to know how the machines are working, and they need to know how the machines are communicating with one another and to troubleshoot these machines. So I think a lot of the job roles of the future will be about having the right frameworks around the AI and being able to increase the productivity across the entire value chain by leveraging AI and probably other new technologies that are not so prevalent at the moment. And I think also thinking of the future, one critical element will be, especially in Europe, let's say, engagement with consumers. So what we would like to see is the consumer being, in Europe especially, much more engaged and involved and taking and adopting these technologies. and also all the elements about health and safety of these technologies. So I think there it's where the trends are of the future.
Okay, so Oana, when it comes to training teams of specialists, what are the best practices in the industry?
Well, I think depends, of course, whom you are asking in the industry, and I think there is no such a recipe which is the best. I think it's why. First of all, it's why are we doing this? It's because we want to offer to everybody a better livelihood. We want to offer good quality jobs which are well paid. We want the middle class to continue and to thrive in Europe. And this is really what is it at stake here. That's why I personally am so invested in really the training and the skilling component of this. And I think going to the future, we see a lot of the training and skilling and reskilling happening on the job. So, and very practical elements. Of course, as you know, as I just said, the AI and the virtual and augmented reality technology also play a role here. So, but what we see, what we have seen after Corona was an emergence in and really an increase in the digital and online training. And what we see right now, we are almost 2025, is that actually people want and prefer to learn and train face-to-face, online, and on the job. So I think going forward, one word of advice that I see to the industry also, and that I see in the industry is that there is a lot of overlap in the multiple training program existing out there, because fundamentally every player in the industry has at the moment its own training program, its own infrastructure, its own, let's say, way of skilling and reskilling workers. And I think if you look at the program that exists out there, there is a 65 to 70% overlap overall. So my recommendation would be through organizations such as PSPA, for example, or AVERE at the European level, to really pool resources and really agree on a standardized curriculum that makes sense for the entire industry or for a big part of the industry, and create economies of scope and scale. And then every industrial player then will focus and will invest incremental where it is proprietary for them and where it really makes a difference for them. I think at the moment, if I'm looking at the academies that exist, in both in automotives, but also in consulting companies across Europe, and not only across Europe, as I said, I see really 60 to 70% the same content. So that would be my recommendations going forward. And I also see a role for organizations such as PSPA to play a role.
Okay, Oana, and the last one question, actually my favorite one. What career advice would you give to young people who are interested in new mobility but yet have to choose their studies?
Well, I think that's also one of my favorite questions. But I think, first of all, it's very easy to give advice, but it's much more difficult to live with the consequences of your choices. So I think, first of all, everybody should do what they like to do, and they should own to their choices. I think we are living in a time in the history of humanity where we have access to the technology, but also with the education that enable us to do whatever we really want to do. And my advice really for the young people is to follow their passion, to choose a profession what they like to do, because in reality you spend 80% of your adult time really at work, so at least you should do something that you like to do. But I also would really urge people to not to only focus on what we call social sciences, to go to STEM, to go to practical profession. I'm sure you all heard that today we need more plumbers than lawyers, and it's true. Today we not only need plumbers, but we need installers, we need electricians, we need heat pump installers and technicians. And we are actually working on a list of critical job roles for net zero industries. And I really urge all the young people to choose practical careers, engineers, but also technicians, because they are well paid. They allow you to really go out there, interact with people, interact with technologies, and above all, just choose things that you like to do. And continuous learning, of course. And I'm sure everybody in the young generations will have the opportunity to do much more than one profession. So be open, keep learning, and don't be, let's say, shy, or don't have the prejudice that a technician job is not good enough. I think in today's economy and job market, you get very well paid if you are a technician or an electrician. So please don't be shy. And we also very soon will have a campaign on this, really to attract, in the Skills Institute, to attract young people, and especially alpha generation, to these job roles. So stay tuned.
Very nice. Thank you, Oana, for the conversation and great advice. It was a pleasure having you with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.